comic books, Renslayer is connected to Kang the Conqueror. Considering he is going to be in Ant-Man 3, what is the future of your character in the MCU?
This variant is insubordinate, stubborn, unpredictable.
He's doing great.
What do you think is the importance of inserting Black women in important roles in Phase 4, such as Monica Rambeau, Renslayer, B-15, Okoye?
I think it's so important for everybody to feel represented and seen and special, and that we're magnificent in all of our glory and all of our faults and flaws. I really hope that everyone will see themselves represented in the MCU at some point. Gender, age, physical ability, everything. I think it's important that everyone feels represented all the time in everything.
Well, I think it's important because, that's how the world is. There are different people who look differently and a diverse world, and I think that the superhero and MCU should reflect that. So I think it's great. I think it's exciting.
I think honestly, representation has always been very important to me across my work, and I thought that because Wunmi was, she read for the role and was incredible, and we completely reshaped this role around her, and she's fantastic. And Gugu was in my pitch because I am in love with Gugu. Who isn't? But yeah, no, honestly, I think it's great. I think, I hope that we see more and more people, and I feel like hopefully it's a change in the, in story.
Katie Heron said that the character was constructed around you and expanded because of your overacting. How was to build this?
That's cool. I didn't know that. It was really fun because I started from scratch because there's no comic book character, and so I just got the script and did my homework and did all the prep I would do for any other character. Yeah, I didn't know that they had built more for me.
Yeah.
Hands up. You're coming with us.
I'm sorry, who's us?
Last chance variant.
This is not your first fantasy production. Have you ever imagined yourself in a superhero universe, especially one mostly male audiences, male cast?
I hadn't really seen myself in the superhero realm at all, really. And then I saw Black Panther and I realized there was space for me. And from that moment on, I wanted to be a part of the MCU. So I was very, very excited when the offer came through because I hadn't thought that there was space for me before as a Black woman.
I think it's a pretty mixed cast in Loki, but I've done a sort of a different type of superhero film in Fast Color, which was more of an indie, female-driven superhero film, and this is such a different world because obviously it's based on the comics and Loki specifically, but I think that there are some really strong and powerful female characters in Loki, not just Judge Renslayer, who I play, but also Wunmi's character and Sophia DiMartino's character when we get to see her a little later on as well.
One of them will get more in trouble with Loki.
Well, you'll have to watch to find out. That's half of the fun, I think. Loki is a troublemaker, and mischief and chaos seems to follow him wherever he goes. So I think everybody gets their fair share.
I love in the first episode, watching particularly Wunmi's character B-15 with Tom's Loki, because they have that brilliant fight in the first episode, and when she hits him around the face in the desert, and I think, their relationship is very fun to me. It's Loki, right? He's going to rattle some cages for sure.
Do I get a weapon? Gear up. Don't those
Absolutely not.
What is the challenging of exploring the multiverse in Loki?
You know, we had that Miss Minutes video in the first episode, and it's really just setting up there's a whole new playing field here, you know, that the TVA are minding time and how they're maintaining this one timeline and what needs to be done in order for that to happen. So yeah, so I think it was just exciting to me in the sense that, you know, we had one sense of time from everything that had come before, but actually no, the TVA are in charge, and this is why, and this is what they do.
What was the most challenging thing for you in Loki?
Probably the most challenging was filming in the pandemic, and the fact that we had to pause for 5 months. And then when we did come back, it was different. There were masks and testing and social distancing and, you know, sort of being in isolation in a bubble when you're filming. So I'm really proud of everyone that we got it done, you know, under those circumstances, because it was a whole new way of filming really for many of us. So and then you watch the final product and you really can't tell. It just makes me even more proud of, you know, the whole cast and crew for keeping it together and, you know, making this amazing show that you would never know, you know, was filmed under very difficult circumstances.
What could possibly go wrong?
Trusting Loki is not a good idea.
In episode 2, I love that revealing scene where you are not yourself. What was the most challenging thing for you in this scene?
I would say doing it in front of the person that I'm trying to emulate. That was intimidating, but also really great because I got tips and advice and, you know, the thumbs up, thumbs down, like, that's great, that's not so good. Yeah, so that was a little bit intimidating, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
In comic books, Renslayer is connected to Kang the Conqueror. Considering he's going to be in Ant-Man 3, what is the future of your character in the MCU?
Well, I can't really speak about that character, but I know that, you know, Renslayer is, as we see her in the TVA, is sort of an origin story for what we know in the comics. So it sort of predates a lot of what people might have read about her in the comics. So that's exciting because it means, you know, it could go any way. So we'll see what happens.
You picked up the Tesseract, breaking reality. I want you to help us fix it.
And you've also directed Sex Education, which is one of the most popular TV shows here in Brazil. Can you give 3 reasons for sex ed fans to watch Loki?
Oh, okay. So
That's me.
I would say it has a lot of heart. We have great music. And it's also in a heightened universe, you know. Sex ed is set in that kind of cool John Hughes kind of world, and this is in a whole different world, like a sci-fi world, but again it's a very cool, heightened, stylistic place it takes place in. So those would be my 3 reasons.
What's your favorite character in the MCU?
Loki. Definitely Loki. Like, I love villains, and I think that, you know, you don't necessarily have to like their actions, but you have to understand them. And I think that Tom's performance over the last decade, and obviously he's gone from villain to anti-hero, but he just grounded Loki in such empathy and wit. And even when he was doing at his most worst, you couldn't help but root for him. And I was really excited to be part of, you know, Loki's next chapter in the MCU. So yeah.
I'm gonna say Killmonger. I really loved him, and I just loved that whole film, to be honest. And I really didn't want him.
Ah, spoilers!
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Loki, I've studied almost every moment of your entire life. You've literally stabbed people in the back like 50 times.
Why never do it again?